the award. Last year, we had to go upside down to Tasmania to find Mr. Tuck to honor him. I'm of two minds in giving it this evening. Incidentally, I don't make the award. We asked the 18 previous people to vote, and I'm delighted that it was unanimous. If I had had to cast a deciding vote, I would have been in a rather dichotomous position because this chap is a fellow collector, and I find that whenever I'm down in the huckster room that I'm told that he has just bought the autographed copy of The Outsider that belonged to H.P. Lovecraft, or he has walked off with a complete mint set of Thrill Book. And understand Huckster should be very happy that whatever you haven't sold on Monday, I believe he's going to buy the entire room. But it takes a big heart to win the Big Heart Award. And it occurred to me at one time it would really be terrific if the author Sidney J. Bound would win it, because then I could say that his generosity knows no bounds. However, there is a gentleman from Sydney who has won the award this evening, and he is attempting to collect the other half of science fiction, which I don't have already, and take it down to Australia and thereby benefit not only the world but all fankind. So I'm very pleased that we have with us from Australia this evening to receive the 1976 E. Everett Evans Memorial Award, Ronald E. Graham.
Isn't he here?
Is Ron in the audience? Anyone know if he's... Yes. Okay, I'll deliver it to Dave Kyle then on Ron's behalf. Thank you.
Just a moment. Dave, Kyle, let Dave come up there and accept it. He wants him to the spotlight too.
Okay.
Come on, Dave. Dave Kyle will accept for Ron Graham.
On behalf of Ron, thank you all very much.
The next award, also not a Hugo, is the First Fandom Award, an annual presentation made to some fan or professional who has been active in the science fiction field since before you were born. Not me, but you. Lester Del Rey will make the presentation, and only Lester knows the winner. I do not. You don't have it?
No, it's not.
Is it in your pocket?
Well, you know, that's the way it is. Well, okay.
It just so happens.
I think most of you know the man that has been chosen by the First Fandom for the award tonight. I don't think very many of you ever got a chance to see him. As a matter of fact, when Bob Madel came up to me and started telling me about this man, I said, yeah, sure, he used to be a friend of mine. He was over at our house several times. Bob practically fell through the floor. And Bob is a man who has managed to meet most of the old-time pros. Let's not make any secret of it. The man is Harry Bates. To those... To those of you who don't know, I'm going to read what will be on the plaque. But let me say very simply, Harry Bates wrote one of the very great classic stories. It was Farewell to the Master, out of which the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still was more or less made. And may I say, just as one of the shocking situations in our profession as it used to be, Harry got a good deal less than $1,000 for all rights to that movie. I think Harry deserves, if he didn't get the financial awards that he should have, he deserves a great deal of heartfelt thanks from all of us. Harry was a very quiet gentleman. He wasn't given it all to boasting or anything like that. He didn't believe in tooting his horn. He was really more interested in the fact that he'd been an editor than he was in what he wrote. He sometimes apologized. About the only thing he was proud of, as far as I can find out, and it was not A Farewell to the Master, which he thought should have been a much better story than it was. He was rather proud of the way they had put over the Hawk Car stories on the public under the name of Anthony Gilmore, which to the last I knew, he would not admit responsibility for fully. He kept it a little bit of a mystery. It was, of course, Harry Bates and at least partly another editor. This is what it says on the plaque. Harry Bates, editor, Astounding Stories of Super Science, January 1930, Volume 1, Number 1. All that means is since the beginning. And editor until the magazine's demise as a Clayton publication with a March 1933 issue, and also editor of Strange Tales, a strong competitor of Weird Tales during its all-too-brief lifetime from September 1931 to 1933. And I'm going to interpose here and say one thing. If it hadn't been for Harry Bates, the strong story element of science fiction might have been a long time coming, and without it, I think science fiction might have been an early time dying, because Harry was the one who made it to it, the wonders of our science, the real value of story, and he was an expert editor. Harry Bates, one of the most able editors of the Clayton chain of pulp magazines, almost single-handedly talked William Clayton into publishing a science fiction magazine at a time when only two existed, Amazing Stories and Wonder Stories. The result of his effort, Astounding Stories of Super Science, later Astounding Stories, then Astounding Science Fiction, and today Analog. From the beginning, the magazine, under whatever name, was a leader in the science fiction field. Not only was Harry Bates a gifted editor to whom we all, editors, writers, and fans, owe an undying debt, but he was also a superb writer, a master artist of words and ideas. Members of First Fandom remember with nostalgic fondness the adventures of that great champion of the spaceways, Hawk Cars, as he battled to the death his evil opponent, Dr. Kusui, in 4 long, heart-clutching novelettes in 1931 and 1932. After Astounding passed into the hands of Street and Smith, with F. Orland Tremaine as editor, and a few years later John W. Campbell, Jr., it became increasingly more sophisticated, and with it Harry Bates, with such classic gems as A Matter of Size in 1934, Alas, All Thinking in 1935, A Matter of Speed in 1941, and his all-time great classic, Farewell to the Masters, in 1944. And so, to Harry Bates, we of First Fandom raise our glasses high and say, hail, old and dear friend, and welcome to the Hall of Fame, where I may say he has been for a long, long time. Jack Williamson, Jack. Accepting for Harry is a man who very frequently appeared in the same magazine with Harry when he was writing the Hawk Car stories, and shortly afterwards, and who would be one of the first to admit his virtues, Jack Williamson.
I'm proud and happy to accept this for Harry Bates. I have very, very warm feelings for him because he bought some of my very first stories, and what I want to do is to quote the note that came with the largest check: God is love.
The remaining awards are all Hugos. And the first of these is for the Best Professional Artist. These were the 5 top nominated names. George Barr, Vincent DeFate, Steve Fabian, Kelly Freese, and Rick Sternbach. Kelly Freese,
I don't suppose I have to tell you that it's just as exciting to get the 10th one as it was to get the first one. Thank you so damn much.
the Best Dramatic Presentation. And these were the final nominees. A Boy and His Dog, The Capture, Dark Star, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Rollerball, Are you hissing me? Just because of the lovely lady that I can kiss and you can't? A Boy and His Dog. L.Q. Jones was the director of that picture, and accepting the award from Mr. Jones will be Edward Bryant.
Thank you.
The wonderful thing about being a designated recipient is that the actual recipient is supposed to send you prepared remarks in advance of the presentation just in case he or she wins. And I think that perhaps I hold the award tonight for being I'm not just one designated recipient, I'm all sorts of designated recipients, sort of a catch-all. I may actually be up here more on the stage more than even Kelly Freas over his entire career. But in regard to this particular award, I was left to my own devices to come up with the remarks of appreciation for this particular Hugo. And I can't do the good old boy routine like L.Q. Jones can, so I'll just have to wing it. I think that there's something particularly satisfying to see this award being given to this particular production tonight, because there has been an ongoing controversy over the awards for dramatic achievement in both the Nebula and the Hugo competitions, because so many times in the past it seems that the award has gone to, well, frankly, people or people in a corporate collective way that don't appreciate the award. The award goes to an anonymous corporation, or it goes to a faceless director, or it goes to a Neanderthal producer. And at best, it ends up going back into the water cooler supply room or something to hold down Mr. Coffee filters. But this time it's different, because this particular film, regardless of how you feel about its virtues or liabilities, was made by people, individual people, like L.Q. Jones, the director, and Alvy Moore, the producer, and of course Harlan Ellison, who wrote the original novella upon which the script was based. And so the essence of what I want to say is that when I deliver this award to the offices of the L.Q. Jaff Production Company in Hollywood, I think you all can be assured at this point that it's not going to be consigned to that back closet. This award is going to be out front in a place of prominence where anybody who is visiting L.A., who has seen the Watts Towers and the L.A. County Museum and the La Brea Tar Pits, is perfectly welcome to stop in and see. And also, I would rather imagine that this particular award is going to be used in the future publicity regarding the film, because the film isn't dropping out of sight. There are strong signs that A Boy and His Dog is going to continue to be a sort of underground classic. So on behalf of all the people who made A Boy and His Dog what it is, and not to mention Tiger, who played Blood, who really ought to have gotten the Patsy Award for Best Animal Actor of the Year. I agree. All of them collectively say thank you very, very much.
And now, the award for the Best Professional Editor. And as usual, there were 5 closing nominations and a no award category. The nominations were these: Jim Bain, Ben Bova, Ed Furman, Robert Silverberg, and Ted White. We will soon know. That's coming. Wait for the intermission. That's coming. Ben Bova. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. And thank all of you. You know, whoever you are, I haven't got 10 of these, and I will never turn one down. But 4 in a row makes me think that maybe you're doing it out of habit. There are lots of other fine editors in this field, and I really hope you think a little harder next year. But I'll accept it anyway. Thank you.
Now the plot thickens as we approach the nominations for the Best Fiction of the Year. And in this particular category, there were 6 nominations, not 5. The Best Short Story of the Year: Doing Linen by Greg Benford, Rogue Tomato by Michael Bishop, Croatoan by Harlan Ellison, Catch That Zeppelin, Fritz Leiber, Sail the Tide of Morning by Richard Lupoff. And Child of All Ages by P.J. Plugger. We will know. Ken Keller doesn't know it yet, and it isn't in his schedule. But when we finish with the Hugos, there's going to be a little tiny intermission coming in. If Ken doesn't like it, that's tough. Catch That Zeppelin, Fritz Leiber. Fritz couldn't be here, but accepting for him is Charlie Brown.
I'd like to thank you for Fritz. I talked to him a few days before I left, and he said for those who would like to know, he just finished a 40,000-word Gray Mauser novel. Yeah. He was also very sorry he couldn't come here, and I'm sure he thanks you all for this.
A Hugo for the best novelette, and these 5 were nominated. The New Atlantis, Ursula K. Le Guin. And 7 Times Never Kill a Man by George Martin. Borderland of Saul by Larry Niven. Tinker by Jerry Purnell. San Diego Lightfoot Sioux by Tom Remy. What do you suppose the house would do if we played it straight just once? And now a Hugo for the best novelette, and these 5 were nominated. The New Atlantis by Ursula K. Le Guin. And 7 Times Never Kill a Man by George Martin. Borderland of Saul by Larry Niven. Tinker by Jerry Purnell. San Diego Lightfoot Sioux by Tom Remy. I'm going to fix you. You won't get any more of my booze. Borderland of Saul, Larry Niven. Oh, come on, Larry. There he is.
Hey, that's nice. You can't see it as closely as I can. I must say I thought I was through with Beowulf Schaefer about 5 years ago, and also that he won me my first Hugo for Neutron Star. I am most pleased. Thank you.
Now then, there are only 2 more to go. We're running out of awards. The best novella was selected from among these 5 nominees. The Silent Eyes of Time, Algis Budrys. The Custodians by Richard Cowper. The Storms of Windhaven. By Lisa Tuttle and George Martin. Arm by Larry Niven. And Home is the Hangman from Roger Zelazny. May I please?
Roger, in all his modesty, I think all he would say would be, "Thank you," you know. But I'm going to tell you, I think this is really beautiful, and it's great, and thanks a lot.
'15th and last, the last Hugo Award for tonight, is the best novel of the year. And as usual, there were 5 in alphabetical order. The Computer Connection, Alfred Bester. The Forever War, Joe Haldeman. Inferno by Larry Purnell and Larry Nipjury. Jerry and Larry. The Stochastic Man by Bob Silverberg. Doorways in the Sand by Roger Zelazny. Be strange if the envelope was empty. The Forever War.
Thank you. I'm glad the lights are so bright that I can't see how many people are out there. I'd like to thank 3 people, my wife, Gay, and, and Ben Bova, the editor who bought the stories and got me a publisher for the book, and of course our honored guest, Mr. Honey. Thank you very much.
Much to Ken Keller's surprise, and not on his schedule, I am calling a tiny little intermission. Stick around, don't go away, because in a few moments, we're going to do the second half of this splendid doubleheader. Pardon me.